Good afternoon, everyone. Bon après-midi, tout le monde. Merci énormément d'être venu pour offrir cet énorme accueil chaleureux au Premier ministre Mark Carney à Fredericton. I really want to thank you. It is a gorgeous day. This is a gorgeous looking crowd. Holy cow. So many new faces. I'm looking out and seeing so many people I've never seen before, and I want to thank you for coming out to show such a massive, warm, New Brunswick welcome to the current and future Prime Minister, Mark Carney. Now, every election matters. Absolutely. But does anybody else here feel like this election matters more than ever? We are facing unprecedented uncertainty, and especially here in New Brunswick, where we are more dependent on exports to the United States than any other province. People here are worried about their jobs. They're worried about their businesses. They're worried about costs continuing to rise under Trump's chaos. It was under this specter that I first met Mark Carney when he became Prime Minister and took over leadership of the First Minister's meeting. And I got to see around that table someone who is calm, compassionate, competent. He enhanced our unity as premiers. Absolutely. He enhanced our resolve to fight and to protect the Canada that we know and love. Alors ça, c'est pourquoi j'aimerais prendre ce moment pour lui dire personnellement un gros merci, Monsieur Carney. Now it is an absolute treat for me to welcome you all to my hometown and here in Fredericton and to this historic special farmers market as I get to introduce somebody who is equally special. Thank you, Anna. Now look, I have known David Myles since he was much shorter than he is now. Our families lived beside each other in Sunshine Gardens about more than 40 years ago. Yes, that's right, Sunshine Gardens in the house, love it. We even traveled to Costa Rica together on one of the famous Jim Myles adventures back in 1994. But then I got to know him as an adult because we have daughters the same age. And so our families got to reconnect. And so I want to share with you a little bit about that David that I know. He is a political nerd. Nobody here is surprised. He has been for a very long time. We have been debating politics for more than a dozen years over pizza, at family dinners, around the fire pit. He has been seriously interested in this country's progress for as long as I have known him, really. And David takes representing this community and this country really seriously. It's something that he has done. C'est quelque chose qu'il a fait depuis longtemps. David est un représentant de cette communauté et de notre pays pour plusieurs années. Je me souviens quand il était sur le stage national aux Olympiques à Vancouver. Et là, il nous représentait là de façon incroyable d'ici à Nouveau-Brunswick. He's been on the international stage representing Canada, and he has always done so with an incredible amount of professionalism, dignity, and pride for this country. One of the key skills that David brings to this job, he built with his music career, and that is to be an excellent listener. Folks who are musicians would understand this. You really have to be constantly listening to know where your bandmates are and where the other members of your team are. Il a une écoute incroyable parce que c'est quelque chose qu'il a besoin comme un professionnel, un musicien. Et moi, je crois que cette expérience d'écoute est la compétence le plus importante pour un politicien d'aujourd'hui. I really believe that the #1 skill that an MP should have is to be a great listener, and David Myles is a great listener. One of the reasons that David is a great listener is because he's curious, and he cares, and he loves people, and he loves learning. Il adore parler à tout le monde, n'importe qui, pour vraiment gérer de bonnes relations, pour mieux comprendre. Il est quelqu'un qui veut vous demander des questions, veut comprendre ce que vous pensez. Il a une écoute incroyable et ça va lui faire un représentant excellent de cette communauté. David also, yeah. David also gives back. I think folks in this room probably know that he has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for this community and the people of this province. Ouais. David est intelligent, puis il est quelqu'un qui a des compétences de communication incroyables. Il peut communiquer des idées de façon vraiment accessible. Il sait les questions à demander parce qu'il a une expérience diverse. I am so grateful that David Myles has offered to serve the people of Fredericton of Oromocto at this critical stage. There is no better person to be the next MP for Fredericton Oromocto and represent this community in Ottawa. I want to take just a quick minute to speak to David's family. I want to let them know that we've got you, that John and I and Molly and the girls, we are going to be here for you through all of the challenges that political life can bring. We love you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in this room, friends and neighbors, please join me in welcoming the next Member of Parliament for Fredericton Oromocto, David Myles!
Oh my goodness, I wasn't ready for that, Susan. I didn't know you were going to talk about my family. Oh my good. Well, you know what? I think there's only one appropriate place to start. And I think we should sing "O Canada" together. O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. Car t'embrasse et porter les pays, il s'est porté la croix. Tant l'histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits. land, glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Good evening, Fredericton, Oromocto. Thank you all for being here. Welcome to this incredible evening. Merci d'être là. Ça m'a fait plaisir d'être ici avec vous. Je suis David Myles. You might have recognized me from before. I'm the same guy. And I am just so honored to be up here today as your Liberal candidate for Fredericton, Oromocto. I really am. Mais je veux dire aussi bienvenue à tout le monde qui est venu, tous les autres candidats libéraux qui est venu de partout de Nouveau-Brunswick qui sont ici ce soir. Thank you so much to all the amazing Liberal candidates we have in this province that have joined us tonight. I'll tell you, I've spent a long time traveling. The last 20 years I've spent traveling around Canada in tons of small towns and big cities, every single province, north and south, French and English, and I've loved every moment. And what I've seen is an amazing country that is not broken, my friends. It's not broken. It's a beautiful country of hardworking people that want to work together to make the country even better. And every single night when I got on stage, I'd start the show by saying, "Hi, I'm David Myles. I'm from Fredericton, New Brunswick." And that made me so happy. It made me so happy and proud. And I'm thinking maybe someday, with your help, I'm going to be able to stand in Parliament and say, "Hi, I'm David Myles from Fredericton, Oromocto." Thank you. Merci. On est presque là. On est presque là. Il reste 7 jours, mes amis. 7 days, we are almost there. We have knocked on over 14,000 doors. I'm getting my steps in, folks. I've never been more fit. 4,000 phone calls, thousands of conversations, all over Fredericton and Oromocto, and honestly, it has been amazing. Incredible, the conversations. I've always felt like I had a deep sense of this community, and in the last 4 weeks, it's gotten so much more profound, and my desire to serve has only grown. It's only grown. I understand how much I want to do this, and how much I feel honored to get to try to do this. And I'll tell you what is incredible about these conversations, and I'm sure you've all experienced the same shows. I'm in bilingual territory now. You're seeing the same thing. On voit la même chose. People are scared. People are worried. They're worried. And they're scared. And it's a serious time. And they're looking for a serious leader. And we have a serious leader. over and over, conversation after conversation, I hear people say, Mark Carney is the man for the job. He is the person for this moment. Canadians are putting their trust in Mark Carney, and I know why. And I love to see it. Intelligence, pragmatism, determination, respect. Keep them coming. I love it. And I will tell you, it makes my job a lot easier when it's like that coming to the door and they say, we love Mark Carney. And I say, moi aussi. So I gotta say, this has been an incredible experience. We got 7 more days. I appreciate all the volunteers who have worked so hard. Thank you all so much. I see so many of you out there. We are gonna need everybody. We're gonna need everybody over the next 7 days. We love your energy. We're going to need everybody, and we are going to make this happen, and we are going to win in 7 days. Let's do this. C'est toujours une expérience spéciale d'être ici au Boyce Farmers Market quand même. Un de mes endroits préférés dans la ville. I love this place because people come from all over. All walks of life, week after week. They come together and they find each other here at the market. And we chat, and we build community and unity. And that's what this campaign is all about, folks. That's what this campaign is all about, coming together despite our differences. And that's what happens at this market. We're bringing people together tonight. We are bringing people together tonight, and we are going to be bringing people together for the next 4 years. So it feels pretty significant to me to be gathered here together to welcome our next guest. Ça me fait grand plaisir. Ça me fait grand plaisir. I'm incredibly proud to be part of this Liberal team. And it is a great privilege of mine to welcome to the stage Canada's Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Mark Carney.
Qu'est-ce qu'ils pensent? Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup. Oh mon Dieu. What are the Americans thinking? Do they think they can take on you? Unbelievable. They're dreaming. Alors, wow. C'est toujours un plaisir d'être à Fredericton. C'est une image du Canada fort et fièrement bilingue. David, thank you. Thank you for the beautiful rendition of our national anthem. Thank you for stepping up. Thank you for listening. Thank you for bringing your values, your heart, your soul, the values of this great city to Ottawa in 7 days. I want to thank, look at that lineup. Look at that lineup. Come on, New Brunswick. We need every single one. Every single one. We need you. Go long, go short, go tall, go small, go in. Send them all to Ottawa. Outstanding, outstanding team. I want to say, just before I get going, I want to say a word of thanks to Premier Holt. Above and beyond. Premier Holt, herself, her family, who I had the pleasure of meeting just a moment ago, you know, she stepped up to serve you, to serve this province during a crisis. She stepped up because of the health crisis, right? She stepped up for the health crisis. She got more than she bargained for. We got more. Susan, you want a crisis? We got more. We got more crises. She is the best. She is the best. And I'll tell you, around that table, that First Minister's table, the value of Premier Holt is incalculable. She's smart. She's got a heart. She knows her people. She knows her values. And she's there to get things done. And that's what we need. We need to get things done. We need to move forward. We need everyone. So I have a question. I have a question. And I've got a series of questions, actually. My first question, who's ready? Who is ready? Who is ready? Qui est prêt de Senator Dude? Who's ready to stand up for Canada? Okay. Okay, we got that covered. We got that covered. Next one. Who is ready to help the Liberal Party win the most consequential election in our lifetimes? Okay. Thank you. Well, that's great. My work here is done. Okay, so thank you very much. No, it is the most consequential. We need you because President Trump's trade war has literally, it is stupid. Correct. It has ruptured the global economy and it has betrayed Canada, America's neighbor, closest friend, and most steadfast ally. Yeah. And it pains me to say it, but it's true. We got to recognize reality. Our old relationship with the United States is over. Okay? It's a reality. It's a tragedy. But we got to move forward. So we are responding. We're responding with purpose and with force. Yeah. Yeah. Not messing around. Nous nous battons contre ces tarifs injustes avec des contre-tarifs qui ont un impact maximal aux États-Unis et un impact minimal ici au Canada. Right. Hurt them more than us. Nous protégeons nos travailleurs, nos entreprises en utilisant chaque dollar tiré de nos contre-tarifs pour le faire. All that money is going to our workers and our businesses. None of it is going to the tax cuts. Et par-dessus tout, nous bâtissons un Canada fort. Now, we're going to build a strong Canada. And that is Canada. That's right. Canada. Canada. Now, it's going to require, building that Canada strong is going to require some big changes. And I'm ready to make them. As you heard the Premier say, and I was proud to hear her say it, I'm a pragmatist. I'm not a career politician. And so when I see something that's not working, I change it. And that's exactly what we did as soon as I became Prime Minister. Houses, homes are too expensive, so we cut taxes on them. And we set out a strategy to build twice as many every year using Canadian technology, Canadian skilled trades, and Canadian lumber right from here. That's right. We saw, and with Dominic Leblanc as the Minister of Finance, we saw that the capital gains tax was stifling builders and innovators and entrepreneurs, so we got rid of it. We reversed it. And we listened. We listened to you. We recognized that while it looked good on paper, the consumer carbon tax was too divisive, so we eliminated it on day one. And you saw it. Yeah, you've seen it at the pump. So we're going to get the big polluters to pay you to save energy through home retrofits and more efficient heating. Nous avons élargi l'accès au régime canadien de soins dentaires pour que 5 millions de Canadiens de plus puissent en bénéficier. Oui, 5 millions. Et nous avons renforcé nos relations commerciales avec l'Union européenne pour que nos exportateurs soient moins dépendants aux États-Unis. You'll see a lot more of that. Nous avons conclu une entente importante avec l'Australie et renforcé notre coopération militaire avec la France et le Royaume-Uni. Less dependent. And as the Premier mentioned, at the end of my first week as Prime Minister, we brought together all of the Premiers and agreed to eliminate the barriers to trade and to work across our great country. And I thought to myself at the end of that, I thought, when's the last time all the Premiers agreed on anything? Except that they hated the federal government. They hate the federal government, that's good. But we know that we need one Canadian economy, not 13. Yeah. And so, the federal government, my government, if you send us to Ottawa, we have committed to do our part, remove all federal barriers by July 1st, free trade in Canada by Canada Day. So, in 9 days as new government, we did more than Pierre Poilievre has imagined in all his decades in politics. And, if he hadn't... Thank you, Mom. That's if Pierre had... Well, I haven't had 4 more. I haven't had 4 weeks. I've only had 4 weeks. 4 weeks. Well, yeah. I'm not sure Pierre has an imagination. He's so busy mimicking President Trump. So the point is imagine what we could do together if the Liberal Party gets a strong, positive mandate from Canadians in this election. That's what we need. You know what? And we need that mandate because in just a few days, the Prime Minister of Canada is going to be sitting down with the President of the United States. Yeah, that's what we agreed. That's what he and I agreed. And the reality is that the President is trying to break us so America can own us. That's what he's trying to do. Yeah, they won't. Yeah. He's up front about it. Take him, sir, bring it on, exactly. That will never happen. And I got to say, We are over. I look at this room and we are over the shock of the betrayal, but we should never forget the lessons. We have to look out for ourselves. And we have to take care of each other. Look. I love it. The Leafs are looking good. Leafs are looking good. Elbows up, elbows up. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. Well, there's something else first. Before the elbows, actually, we're going to skip over the elbows up bit. Because, look, the reality is, we didn't ask for this fight. But Canadians are always ready when someone else drops the gloves. Right? We're going through that. Yeah. And in a trade war, just like hockey, we will win. We will win this. You know, like many of you, hockey has played a big part in my life. Not that big a part of my life. Don't get carried away here. Oh, easy. There's a little. That's okay. Diversity. That's Canada. That's for Canada. We admire anyone. You can love who you want to love, live where you want to live. You can cheer for the Leafs. You can cheer for the Leafs, right, David? Yeah. Look, I grew up with the values I learned at the kitchen table, in the classroom, and on the ice. And my parents were teachers. They stressed, yeah. That's it. That's all the teachers in the crowd. What's happened to the teachers in the room? They stressed the importance of working hard, of supporting our community, and caring for other people. And my coaches taught me to play hard, be ambitious, but also, because it's Canada, to stay humble. These are the values in Fredericton. Yeah. These are Canadian values. And so I kept these values close to me when I was managing crises around the world. And now I'm drawing on them to stand up to President Trump and to build the strongest economy in the G7, a new economy that works for everyone in this country in a dangerous world. Now, this approach, Pierre Poilievre, he doesn't get any of this. And I've seen this movie before around the world. There's a type of lifelong politician, who worships at the altar of the free market despite never having worked in the private sector. It's the kind of politician, never made a payroll, exactly, never made a payroll. Yep. Politician who, I don't get him, I'll leave him behind. Politician who's never changed his mind. This is something Pierre says. I've never changed my mind since I was 17. I don't know about you. Have anyone learned anything since they were 17? A few things. Change your mind about the Leafs. Change your mind about I'm just saying. We live, we grow, we learn, we change, we adapt. But he's a politician who's never changed his mind, but relies on a reflex, which is to cut, destroy, and divide. Okay? Mais nous avons besoin de solutions, pas de slogans, de calme, pas de chaos, de courage, pas de colère. Parce que la négativité ne va pas nous permettre de gagner une guerre commerciale. La négativité ne va pas payer le loyer ou l'hypothèque. La négativité ne va pas baisser le prix de l'épicerie. La négativité ne va pas rendre le Canada fort. Et c'est le fait. c'est le fait que la négativité a déjà divisé et commence à affaiblir les Américains. Si nous sommes forts et unis, nous allons triompher. Et c'est notre force que veulent les Américains. Nos ressources naturelles, notre eau, nos terres, notre pays. Jamais, jamais. Le Canada n'est pas les États-Unis. Le Canada n'est pas une pays. Aux États-Unis, la santé est un commerce. Au Canada, c'est un droit. That's why Susan got into politics, because healthcare is a right and we have to deliver it. Aux États-Unis, on ne reconnaît pas les différences. On ne reconnaît pas les peuples autochtones. Et il n'y aura jamais de droit pour la langue française. Les États-Unis ne sont pas le Canada et le Canada n'en fera jamais partie, jamais. So we have this little situation with the Americans. What do we do? Well, we'll come to that, yes. Come to that too. This is a crisis. And in a crisis, the first thing you need to do is prepare for the worst, not hope for the best. We need to take them seriously. Then you need to distinguish between what you can change and what you can't. We can't change President Trump. No. So we need someone to stand up to him. And that person, it's not Pierre Poilievre who draws his inspiration from President Trump, who copies his ideas, whose first instinct, Pierre Poilievre's first instinct when our nation was attacked a few months ago was to call Canada, and I quote, stupid. This is the same Pierre Poilievre who chooses still to be willfully blind to the growing threats facing our country by refusing, for some reason, to get his security clearance. You're getting close, 954 days and counting. I got mine in 3 weeks, it wasn't hard. A couple forms, you had to tell the truth. That's all I'm saying. Just saying. Gotta be up front. It's always better. You young kids out there, it's always better to tell the truth. It's always better to tell the truth. Et c'est la vérité. Pierre Poilievre. C'est la mauvaise personne au pire moment. Maintenant, nous devons comprendre ce que nous pouvons et devons changer. Nous sommes maîtres chez nous. Nous pouvons contrôler notre destin économique. We can and we will control our destiny with the right plan. Yeah. Because in a crisis, it's not that complicated. Plan beats no plan. And to win in a crisis, you do, it's true. It's amazing how people run around, they're like, have a plan, people rally behind it. But really, to win in a crisis, you have to act with overwhelming force. Because you have to overcome the anxieties that people naturally feel. You have to break through the uncertainties that businesses face. And you have to replace what the crisis is taking away. What happens in a crisis is the private sector retreats. Government has to step up to catalyze private investment. And that's what our plan for Canada Strong will do. Our plan Our plan starts with making government spend less so that Canadians can invest more. We will cut government waste. We will slash spending on outside consultants. We will cap the federal public service. We will use technology to deliver results while saving your tax dollars. And we won't use a chainsaw. We will not use a chainsaw. We will use a calculator, not a chainsaw. That's right. But getting government spending under control is just the foundation. It's the start. The core of our plan is to build. Baby, build. We will be building. Our plan builds millions of more homes so young people can afford a home. It builds Canada. It builds Canada into an energy superpower so we're not dependent on the United States. And it's better for the environment. It builds good, not just hundreds of thousands of jobs, it builds hundreds of thousands of careers in the skilled trades. And it builds new trade corridors with reliable partners in every corner of the world. Our plan builds that one Canadian economy out of 13. Our plan will fight back against President Trump's trade war while boldly and ambitiously investing in our country. To give a sense, even with the worst that President Trump can send us, by ushering in a new era of investment, jobs, and growth, our plan will create $20,000 in new growth for every Canadian over the next 5 years. And that is what it means to be Canada strong. Now, we got a little feedback on our plan from Pierre Poilievre and President Trump's allies here in Canada. And they don't necessarily like our plan to stand up to President Trump. They've got some other ideas. I mean, Pierre is literally grasping at straws. He's going to bring back plastic straws. Finally, the kind of boldness that this country needs in times of crisis. We're going to have those straws back, thank God. We'll show Trump, and when the Americans come over the border, we can poke them with them. Because the paper one, they sort of fold the paper ones, so it'll just be better. No, Pierre Poilievre seems to believe that the only way to defend ourselves is to leave every Canadian to fend for themselves. He seems to believe that we should just go along to get along, that the way to get through this crisis is to keep our heads down, to give the Americans what they want and hope for the best. That is not what makes Canada strong. So the choice in this election, could not be clearer. In this crisis, do we meekly accept what the Americans want? Or do we stand up for ourselves and for each other? We don't cut what we need, we invest in our future. Now, we know how we can give each other far more than the Americans can ever take away. We know how, as America retreats from the world, Canada will lead it. Now, before I wrap up, I want to tell you why we as Liberals, we as Canadians, why we care so much about building a strong economy. Yes, it's the good jobs, but it is because we care about people. Because we know that we are all in this together. Because we go back to those values of community that we all share. So rather than letting people fend for themselves, we know that sometimes we need to step up to help each other out. Yeah. That's why this government implemented $10 a day childcare. Pierre Poilievre will eliminate it. Okay? That's why we expanded dental care to 8 million Canadians. Pierre Poilievre would trash it. That's why today we announced major investments in healthcare, in mental health, and the treatments. And the treatments of addictions. And the treatments of addictions, and Pierre Poilievre remains silent. Yeah, I guess voting, yeah, that is, he had to make a noise to vote against it, yes. Look, I'm going to finish up, but I was, just given the day, I was reminded of this difference in approach. Everyone fend for themselves or all in it together. I was reminded earlier when today when I learned that Pope Francis had passed. And I once heard him tell a story, a parable, over lunch. And he started by observing that since we were in Italy, we would have wine at lunch. Wine at lunch here in Fredericton? We don't have wine at lunch. We've banned it. We banned it in Ottawa. David, if you get to Ottawa, no wine at lunch. But he said he was in Italy, so we're going to have wine at lunch. And he observed that wine is many things. It has a bouquet, it has a smell, it has a color, it has a richness of taste, all of which complements the food. It has alcohol, which enlivens the mind, shall we say. So wine enriches, his point, wine enriches all of our senses. And at the end of the meal, again, being Italy, we're scheduled to have grappa. Grappa is one thing, it's alcohol. Grappa is wine distilled. And so then he goes on and he says, humanity is many things. We are passionate, we are curious, we are rational, we are generous, we are self-interested. The market is one thing, self-interested. The market is humanity distilled. Yeah. And then he called on us and he said, your job is to turn the grappa back into wine, to turn the market back into humanity. It was a very important message. It was an important message. And it's one that's, you know, it's a message that's stuck with me over the years because, you know, I've spent a long time in the private sector. I know that markets in the private sector is some of the most powerful instruments that we've ever created, and that they can serve many goods and create many solutions. But they also are indifferent to suffering and can be blind to our greatest needs. And I also know from long experience that markets, the private sector, freezes in a crisis. You see, the difference is that markets don't have values, people do. And we choose. We choose. Yeah. We choose, you choose. We choose whether and how to close the gap between what the market prices and what we value. And to triumph in a crisis, we can't rely on the market alone. Government needs to step up, including by helping those who are hardest hit by Trump's tariffs, including by helping to lead Canada strong. That's what we understand. That's what we understand. That's what our plan will do. Build the strongest economy in the G7 that works for everyone. Now, I have one more thing. One more ask, if you will. Because a plan is only useful if it's actually implemented. And for that to happen, we need your help. Okay. There are only 7 days left in this campaign. And to use a hockey analogy that the Leafs aren't really familiar with, but I'm going to use a hockey. Sorry, I'm just keeping with the theme. I know, it's getting ugly. But to keep with my hockey analogy, there are 5 minutes left in the third period of Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. It is time to leave everything on the ice. And that means, and I know many of you have given so much, but that means that we need you to knock on even more doors. We need you to make even more phone calls. We need you to talk again to your friends, your family, your neighbors. And above all, we need you to vote Liberal so that we can send this strong team to Parliament Hill and we can build Canada strong and free. Merci beaucoup. Thank you.